folks are ready. Good. Okay, this press conference is being held this morning in regards to the fire yesterday in Adams Township. Positive identification was made on our victim through dental examinations, identifying her as April, middle initial R, Baxendale, Baxendale, 47 years of age. This fire was reported shortly before 5:30 yesterday morning at 1107 Mount Airy Drive in Adams Township. I pronounced her dead at 8:07 a.m. She was found on a second floor bedroom near a window. An autopsy was performed yesterday, which confirmed April passed away from toxic smoke and gas inhalation, also sustaining thermal burn injuries over 75% of her body. She did have a medical history of cerebral palsy. She had lived at this residence with her mother, who was 72 years of age, a sister, 48 years of age, and a nephew, 23 years of age. According to the family, there were no smoke detectors in the residence. April was sleeping with her mother in a portable tent in the living room of the residence, along with a space heater. Her sister and nephew were sleeping in a second floor bedroom, also in a portable tent with a space heater. There was no heat inside the residence. April's mother awoke to the smell of smoke, realized that one of the extension cords and part of the tent that they were sleeping in was on fire. April, the mother ran outside, exited the residence. April went upstairs to alert her sister and nephew of the fire. And again, this was a fast-moving fire. The stairway going from the first floor to the second floor was burnt through within a very short period of time, and the fire chief will get into that here in a minute, cutting off access up the first floor. So at that period of time, we had April, her sister, and nephew up in the second floor, trapped. April's sister and nephew exited a second floor bedroom window. April also exited out that window and went back inside to try and retrieve the dogs. There were 5 dogs inside the residence. And again, this was a fast-moving fire. It appears that she became overcome with smoke inhalation and went unconscious. The firefighters did one heck of a job, as they always do, in performing their firefighting duties. This is just an unfortunate situation where, the fire was fast-moving, had a head start, and there would have been nothing those first responders could have done to save our victim. Is there any questions for me at this time before I turn it over to the fire chief?
What's the injuries of the other people?
Unknown at this time. They were taken to Conemaugh Hospital, and their conditions are unknown. Non-life-threatening, though.
You
Yes.
said earlier it was toxic smoke and gas.
Inhalation. And thermal burns over 75%
Of her body.
of her body.
Okay.
So everyone in the house, were they related?
Yes. Yes.
I know, but some people still may wanna know what happened to the dogs.
There were 2 dogs found deceased,
Mhm.
and the other 3, I am not sure. Fire chief may be able to answer those questions.
What utilities did they have at the house?
Obviously, there was electric, but again, no heat. So, very sad situation. Yes.
And just to clarify, they all slept in portable tents.
They were both, all 4 were sleeping in portable tents. April and her mother
Mm-hmm.
on the first floor, and her sister and nephew on the second floor.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, at this time I want to turn it over to Paul Conrad. He's the Adams Township Fire Chief.
Thanks, Mr. Lees. Good morning, everyone. Yesterday morning at 5:27 a.m., we were dispatched for a structure fire with entrapment on the 1100 block of Monterey Drive. The companies dispatched at the initial alarm were the Dunlop Volunteer Fire Department, St. Michael, Richland Township, and Windber Borough Fire Departments. We also had EMS units from East Hills, Northern EMS out of Windber, and Forest Hills out of St. Michael. Upon our arrival, as the coroner said, every room was well involved upon our arrival. And we were aware that some of the family were already out of the house. However, there was still one trapped inside. Unfortunately, at the time of our arrival, the house was in no condition we could make any entry to retrieve April out of the home at that time. The people were transported to Conemaugh Medical Center at the time as the fire departments continued the firefight to extinguish the fire. The rear of the home, which is where we believe it had started, really had major damage to the rear of the home. There were sections of the home that were burned out, sections of the flooring that were burned out, which really made that area unattainable to get into. As the coroner said, the stairway from the first floor to the second floor was burned out, so all of our access to the second floor was through ladders from the outside into the porch and into the structure. We had called, once we had confirmed, obviously, the female was inside. We had assistance with the Cambria County Coroner's Office, the Pennsylvania State Police, and the Adams Township Police in doing the investigation of the fatality at the fire scene. It was tremendous mutual aid response. The assistance among the departments was fantastic. The operations went smoothly. I can't thank our mutual aid partners enough for their assistance in such a tough fire as we had yesterday morning. The EMS personnel were fantastic. We had great assistance by them. They come back and covered our firefighters as they were doing the job there. So we appreciate the EMS folks helping us out at the scene as well. So unfortunately it was a tragic fire. And our role obviously is to prevent loss of life and to put the fire out. But all the departments did the best job that they could, realizing that we did have a fatal at that incident. And I'm open for any questions. If anyone has any questions, yes.
I know the coroner also mentioned it. So you believe the cause of the fire was because of that extension cord with the space heater?
Yes, yes. And we had attained that through our police department talking to the family and verifying that and sharing that with the Pennsylvania State Police Fire Marshal. They were called in from Greensburg, and they sent a team of 3 in yesterday to assist with the investigation. Yes?
How long did it take to put out the fire?
The first quick knockdown occurred in about 20 minutes. That we could do a quick extinguishment of the rooms and so forth, but we did have active fire, in a roof and hidden areas for the next 2 hours. Just pockets of fire that would keep flaring up and so forth. We did as far as the firefight, worked to preserve the area where the body was found so that it did not interfere with, obviously, the corpse. And it would help assist the coroner's office and state police with photographing the scene and retrieving the body out the upstairs window.
Do you know how old the house was?
No, just through discussion in town, we're thinking it was probably about 100 years old. It was one of the original homes in the Elton area, so it was an older home.
Do you know, do they have a homeowner's insurance?
They, from talking through our police department, they did have insurance to cover their home loan. One of the things is, as Coroner Lee said, there was no active smoke detectors in the home. That could have given them a few more minutes head start to, with the notification of the smoke detector going off. And we stress all the time the importance of smoke detectors, the importance of CO detectors. It always gives us that early warning to get out of a building. So, we stress for everyone, please, please install smoke detectors outside the bedrooms, outside your living areas. It gives you that extra head start to, something goes wrong to get out and notify the fire department to come to, respond. Yes?
So do you think had April not went back for the dogs, that she would still be alive?
Hard to say. That the fire and the heat was so intense. It was for someone in street clothes or PJs. It probably was not survivable. Firefighters go. We got turnout gear on or personal protective gear, SCBA helmet. And we know there's limits to us as well, with the temperatures. That home, the early pictures upon arrival, you're probably pushing 1,500 degrees in temperature there. And it was really a massive fire at the time when we got there. And boy, I think the first call came in around 5:25, 5:26, and I think my time on scene was 5:35, and there were one or two people there before me, and it was well involved. So it was really a tough one.
For Paul or Jeff, the surviving residents of the house, do they have another place to stay? Like, do they have family? Are there other resources, Red Cross, anything?
All I know is they were, the elder, the grandmother was at a hotel last night staying there. I don't know what their other housing arrangements are at this time. The Red Cross was called in to assist them.
No. And what was the water source? Was there public hydrant system, tankers?
Yes, we had two different hydrants in Elton that we utilized. The Richland Fire Department hit one hydrant on Elton Road and laid into the scene. It was about 400 feet. We utilized another hydrant out on Forest Hills Drive, which is Route 160, and laid in about 700 feet. So the water was fantastic. We had plenty of water for the firefight. So the operations worked perfect. It worked out well.
Can the living conditions be attributed to like financial difficulties or mental illness or?
I don't know. It could have been. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what their financial status was. As Coroner said, they had tents in the home. I don't know what the meaning of that was. I don't know. So, hard to say at this time.
Sorry, just to clarify again. I know you said there were space heaters on each floor, but it started on the first floor. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if there was also an extension cord then with the space heater on the second floor? Like the same kind of setup?
I don't know that, yeah.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.